Okay, I know this video is a bit late, but I wanted to wait until 2025 before starting work on it, just in case any bangers dropped at the tail end of the year. With that out of the way, please enjoy my pretentious rants about some levels that I think are awesome. Easily my favorite list demon to come out of this year, Dissonance does everything it tries to and more. You can say what you want about the song, but this level makes it work. Every strange and unpleasant sound is perfectly complemented by the insane effects and non-linear gameplay. I've always loved IMAX's style, and this level takes it to the extreme. Every design, color combination, and effect blending together beautifully into one of the best levels of the year. Taking an abrupt turn, the next level on my list is an unrated auto by S-Game-T. After being introduced to them through their first rate neural pathways, I've fallen in love with S-Game's levels. The reason I put this one above all their other masterpieces, despite its lack of gameplay and mixed quality between parts, is because of its message. I feel like a lot of GD levels that have some kind of deeper meaning tend to lean towards the more negative and nihilistic side of things, but Love Yourself More Often tells us to, well, love ourselves more often. I'm sure there are people who will cringe at the speech/poem thing at the end, but it just checks all the right boxes for me and serves as the perfect end to such a visually striking art piece. When I mentioned more negative or nihilistic levels in the previous section, this is both a great example of what I'm talking about as well as how to do it right. Before I start talking about Euthanasia, it feels necessary to mention the deeply personal context behind this level's creation. This level is dedicated to Nykoberry's late father. As a completely outside voice on this tragic passing, I don't want to make any assumptions or pry into theories about anything specific the level is supposed to represent, especially for such a deeply personal subject, so most of my analysis will be fairly general. This level is more closely connected to its song than most levels on this list, so I'll start there. Euthanasia by Will Wood is a haunting confrontation of loss and the afterlife, digging into the concept of heaven as an alleviator of pain over a truth. The aspect of the song I want to touch on, though, is its creation. Wood wrote Euthanasia as a part of the grieving process for his pet rat, using art as a means of processing his emotions. Nykoberry, in his Euthanasia, carries Wood's song forward, shifting the medium and target of the art, but keeping the purpose, to process the death of a loved one. In terms of the level's actual representation of loss, the sparse decoration is representative of the incomplete feeling that comes with losing someone you care about. The gameplay is awkwardly misaligned and mixed in difficulty, portraying the confusion that the grieving process brings. Not only does this level do a fantastic job at examining the deeply painful aspects of loss, but it serves as a great precursor to Nykoberry's much more hopeful Counting the Stars, which was made within the same context. Absolute masterpiece. I don't think I've ever been as caught off guard by a rate, let alone a feature, on any level as much as Lover's Sadness. This level feels so far outside Rob Top's personal preferences, but Jesus Christ was I excited to see this get the recognition it deserves. Lover's Sadness invokes feelings of deep despair, almost to the level of Euthanasia, but focuses much more heavily on storytelling. The level's name gives a nice hint that the first minute and a half of duel gameplay is representative of two lovers. A lot of the gameplay is strange, scary, and desynchronized, potentially portraying struggles in the relationship, but by the end of the duel, the icons have resynchronized. When the duel ends, most likely portraying the death of the lover, the icon falls into some old Rob Top inspired part, most closely resembling Can't Let Go. I see two meanings in this part. The old Rob Top aesthetic could refer to the way that many people deal with loss, surrounding themselves in nostalgic memorabilia from their childhood. The second meaning parallels the next part, where the icon fails to enter a duel portal. Whether this represents attempts at new relationships that just didn't work out, or a feeling that something is missing without their original lover, the name of the level, Can't Let Go, fits well with either interpretation. Later in the level, because the icon can't let go, what I perceive as tears and blood drip from the top of the level. The last two parts amplify the sense of feeling lost with their long parallax backgrounds and fading gameplay until the icon dies, falling upwards like the dual icon at the start. The tears and blood imply suicide, the icon having given up, unable to cope with the loss of their lover. This level's story, atmosphere, decoration, and gameplay all come together to create one of the most fascinating and chilling GD levels of all time, and one of my favorites of the year. Okay, if you need a quick breather from all the heavy stuff, this level is really goofy and I love it. Ascension is the only rated level on this list that I found after it got rated, and boy am I glad that I did. This level has so much going for it in my levels I like checklist. The song is a banger, it's super colorful, and, pardon my language, raw as fuck. This level takes inspiration from so many different levels and somehow spins them all together into a semi-coherent and completely awesome roller coaster of an extreme demon. There's heavy inspiration from Nicrodox's Dedication series, especially Allegiance, but the illusions don't end there. This level has parts straight out of Ditched Machine, Astral Divinity, Trump Circles, The Furious, Hatred, Zero Kabi, and more, interspersed with genuinely impressive backgrounds and frenzied color usage. The biggest reason I love this level is because you can tell that Colros was just having a great time making it, not giving a shit about quality control or minor imperfections, which is something too many creators forget nowadays. No Longer Home 213 is probably the least impressive of the levels on this list at a first glance. The crude and disorganized designs give the impression of a recent tab-like mess, but upon further inspection, this is one of the most deliberately thoughtful levels I've ever seen. The highly repetitive song is matched perfectly by consistent gameplay and decoration motifs, but still mixes things up in exciting ways. Amidst the chaotic default blocks are detailed pixel art and really intricate designs. My favorite part, though, is the progression. The level starts off gray and dark, but slowly brightens as it goes on, resulting in one of the most joyous endings to any level I've ever played. The sense of adventure that the large open spaces and variety between parts creates such an enjoyable watching and playing experience. The level asks us if being no longer home is even a bad thing, when the world it creates is so vast and exciting. Amazing work. Anyone who's talked to me for just a little bit will know how much I love Pox levels. I've always considered him to be one of, if not my favorite creator in the entire game, so you can imagine my excitement to see him drop a 6-minute solo easy demon. Darkness has so many genuinely breathtaking designs and pieces of art, especially for such a heavily effect-focused creator. The use of color in this level is fantastic, the first half being primarily grayscale until it reaches one of my favorite transitions in any level ever and bursts into a vibrant beach. This level is also just so packed full of surprises, hitting you with something new every time things start to feel a little samey. Black and white part looking a little empty, now there's super detailed art that doesn't even look like Geometry Dash in the background. The boardwalk sequence starting to drag, now there's lightning and rain clouds. What ties this whole level together though is the ending. No level has so perfectly nailed the colors, shading, and background of a sunset the way that Darkness does, creating the perfect conclusion to an incredible level. I don't think my opinions on a level have ever taken as sharp of a turn as they did with Eon. When I saw the first part of this level from the showcase on Ren's channel, I thought it was a lazy, monotonous attention grabber just to get popularity from the title of Longest Extreme. That is, until I watched the whole thing. The amount that Eon does with its relatively simple designs is mind-blowing. Somehow, Ren was able to make every part in a 55-minute level feel completely unique, match the song perfectly, and stay exciting to watch. It's so hard to capture the experience of watching, let alone playing this level in words, especially in a video with a bunch of other levels, but it is the definition of a journey. Kakala's The Angel is such a perfect song for this too, having so many breathtaking parts that perfectly fit that journey theme. No matter how much I gush about this level though, you really have to watch the whole thing to understand why it's so good. Invisible gameplay levels will always hold a special place in my heart, tracing back to Crossroads by Embed being my first Insane Demon. There's so many cool things you can do when structures and block designs aren't in the way, and Goir absolutely nails them. The rhythmic, stop-motion-like movements of the backgrounds and the expansive multi-layered parallax throughout the level create such a unique and visually striking style. The way that this level uses its song, though, is what puts it ahead of all the other levels I've mentioned this year. Birds is not only one of my favorite songs in general, but also the perfect melodic masterpiece for a sync-based invisible level. The night part around a minute in with the haunting singing of a bird in the background gives me chills every time. In their video description, Awesome Me says that the level doesn't have any intended meaning, and I think this confronts a really interesting point about art as a whole. While I don't see any intricate message or story in the level, I still find it deeply moving, and I'm not talking about the point being that there is no point or some other nihilist message. If an art piece has some sort of deeper message, that's great. I've made it abundantly clear that that matters to me when talking about levels like Lover's Sadness. But Goir stands as a self-contained experience, as proof that even without meaning, art can be meaningful. Before we get to my favorite level of the year, I wanted to quickly shout out some awesome levels that just barely missed the list. These being Find the Answer by Kali, Anathema by Nicrodox, Get Innocuous by Ladashi, Apocalyptic Trilogy by AP Team, and Output Spring by the Real X Future. With that out of the way, this is my favorite level of 2024. I've been pretty vocal on this channel about my love of Comatose, so a handful of you probably saw this coming. I could talk for hours about each part of this level, all the tiny details, every little thing that just rubs me the right way. But in the interest of time, I'll boil my thoughts down to this. I'll always respect a level more if it tries something new. While hyper-realism and intricate design style are visually appealing and incredibly impressive, they'll never make me feel a way that some other level hasn't made me feel before. Comatose is a detachment from the pre-existing, a first-of-its-kind type of level. When I watched a showcase of this level for the first time, it made me feel things I'd never felt before in my entire time playing this game. There's so many things that bring about this feeling. The beautiful transitions, the mastery of intensity, the hypnotizing backgrounds, the abstract gameplay, the breathtaking ending. It all culminates in the most impactful final jump I've ever experienced. But this level is fantastic in far more places than its last jump. Every inch of this level is perfect, and in my opinion is the best level of 2024. Thanks for watching.